In today's world, business leaders are facing a very difficult challenge. Everything is becoming more expensive, supplies are hard to find, and the future feels uncertain. This is mostly due to inflation, which is when the prices of goods and services keep going up. For many people running companies today, this is new territory. It can feel like you are steering a ship through a dark and foggy storm. However, this time of trouble does not have to be the end of your success. In fact, it can be a great time to hit the reset button. It is a chance to look at how you do things and find ways to make your business even stronger than it was before the prices started rising. To survive and win during inflation, you cannot just sit back and wait for things to get better on their own. You have to be proactive. This means you need to take action before the problems get too big to handle. Successful leaders are the ones who recognize that old ways of doing things might not work anymore. Instead of just trying to cut a few costs here and there, you need to look at your entire business model. You need to think about how you talk to your customers, how you set your prices, and how you manage the money coming in and going out every single day. One of the best ways to handle this uncertainty is to create what is called a war room. Think of this as a special meeting place where your team gathers all the information they can find about the economy. In this room, you look at what your customers are saying, what your suppliers are doing, and how much things like gas and electricity are costing. By having a dedicated space for these conversations, you turn fear into action. You stop worrying and start planning. For example, some smart companies noticed that wages were going up very early and decided to change how they paid people right away. This helped them keep their best workers while other companies were struggling to find help. Another huge part of surviving inflation is understanding your cash. In a normal economy, people often look at profit margins or percentages. But when prices are rising fast, cash is the most important thing. Inflation acts like a trap for cash. It gets stuck in your inventory, the products sitting on your shelves, and in your accounts receivable, which is the money customers owe you. If your customers take too long to pay you, that money loses value because everything else is getting more expensive while you wait. You have to be very careful about who you do business with. It might even be smart to stop working with customers who take too long to pay, even if they seem like they are bringing in a lot of business. Pricing is another tool that you must master. In the past, you might have set a price and left it there for a year. In an inflationary world, you cannot do that. You have to be ready to change your prices much faster. Some companies use index-based pricing, which means their prices go up automatically if the cost of materials goes up. Others use value-based pricing, where they charge based on how much the product actually helps the customer, rather than just what it costs to make. You should also look into surcharges or small extra fees to cover sudden spikes in costs, like high shipping prices. It is important to help your sales team feel confident about these changes so they can explain them clearly to your customers. When it comes to cutting costs, you have to be innovative. It is not just about spending less, it is about spending smarter. There is a concept called total cost excellence. This involves looking at every single part of your business, from travel and office supplies to the way you make your products. Sometimes the best way to save money is to change where you get your supplies from. For instance, some companies are moving their factories closer to where their customers live. This might make the labor a bit more expensive, but it saves a huge amount of money on shipping and makes delivery much faster. This makes customers happier and keeps the business running smoothly. You should also look at your entire value chain. This means looking at your suppliers and your customers as partners. If your supplier is struggling, it will eventually hurt you. Some companies help their suppliers find better ways to work so that everyone saves money. By working together, you can find efficiencies that you wouldn't find alone. This creates a stronger bond between you and the people you do business with, which is very valuable when times are tough. One of the most powerful things you can do during inflation is to use technology. Digital tools can help you track your money and your inventory much better than a simple spreadsheet. These tools can show you exactly where you are losing money and where you have opportunities to grow. Technology also allows you to offer more personalized products to your customers. When you give people exactly what they want, they are often willing to pay a bit more for it, even when they are trying to be careful with their own money. Finally, you might need to fundamentally rethink your business model. This sounds big and scary, but it is often the key to long-term growth. Look at what you are selling and who you are selling it to. You might find that some products are no longer worth making, or some groups of customers are no longer your best target. A great example is a motorcycle company that decided to stop focusing on cheap bikes and started making high-quality premium bikes instead. They also changed how their dealers paid them, moving to a system where they got their cash immediately. This change made them more prestigious and much more profitable. In conclusion, inflation is a major challenge, but it is also a teacher. It forces you to get rid of waste, focus on what really matters, and find new ways to be efficient. By being brave and making these changes now, you are not just surviving a difficult time. You are building a business that is leaner, faster, and more ready for the future. When the economy eventually stabilizes, the companies that took these steps will be the ones leading the way. With a clear head and a proactive plan, you can turn these economic obstacles into the very things that help your business reach the next level.